Hey everyone, Elliot here from Prismata, just doing another Kickstarter update. As you guys can all see, we're doing phenomenal. We're almost at 60% funded. We are less than 10 days into our 30-day campaign. We're totally going to knock it out of the park. We're going to post some stretch goals early next week. That'll be really exciting. We were the #1 Kickstarter in the world for 2 days late last week, according to Kickspy.com. So I just can't get over how supportive everyone's been. Thank you to every single one of you who has contributed to our campaign. It's really just been amazing, and it blows my mind to see what you guys have been saying about Prismata. It's just unbelievable, and I'm so grateful to every single one of you. Thank you. One bit of news that I want to talk about before we get to the main topic of today's update, which is we added a playable offline demo of Prismata that anybody can play. So right now we can't allow everybody access to the main server because it would literally be crippled under the demand. So what we've done instead is create this offline version that anybody can play. You can try out a few games against the bots and see whether you like the game. And this is for those people who are sort of on the fence. They're not really sure whether they want to actually put their money into the Kickstarter. But now you can try the game, play it, see if you like it, and you know, if you do, tell your friends. And if you've already bought into the Kickstarter and you have some friends who are maybe on the fence, or you're not sure whether or not they would want to get in on the Kickstarter without trying the game first, send them the demo. We're really confident in our own product. Basically, people who try Prismata, they tend to really like it. So we're totally willing to give a demo to people to let them try the game. Absolutely. So that's the demo, and now we're going to move on with the main topic, which is the free-to-play model of Prismata, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. I basically want to spell out absolutely everything about Prismata's business model, how we're doing free-to-play, and we don't plan on sweeping anything under the rug. So if you have any questions at all about anything, just ask me. I'm totally willing to talk about just about anything. So thing number one, topic number one, is why is Prismata free-to-play at all? And the reason is basically because it's the only way it's going to work. If we made Prismata a paid game, then we just wouldn't get enough interest in order to have a vibrant online community that's really necessary for a competitive game. And the other thing is, with so many free alternatives, it's really difficult in 2014 to get people to pay 20 bucks or whatever it is to actually buy the game and play it. So Prismata's got to be free. There's basically no alternative. It's not going to work if it's not free. But we want to be more than just free to play or freemium. We want to be genuinely free, like actually a free game. And I'll tell you a bit about what that means. But first I want to talk about how most free to play games make money. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have played a lot of different free to play games. We've studied free to play business models to death. And the one thing that most of them have in common is what we call a frustration-based monetization model. That basically means that the games annoy you until you pay money. And the way they do this is usually there's some kind of vital resource in the game. It's either gold, or it's some kind of energy that you slowly earn by waiting, or something that you have to grind for. And basically this resource is somehow vital to your progression in the game, but is given to you so slowly that you're basically nagged or annoyed into having to pay for more of this resource. And so it's your frustration that induces you to pay. And these companies, they have it down to a science to frustrate you as much as possible so that they can get the maximum amount of money out of you. And it's sort of a very inherently antagonistic model to the consumer, and so that's what we're trying to avoid. The thing is, it can be very profitable, and a lot of free-to-play games have been doing this for years and making tons of money doing it. But in competitive games like Prismata, where you play against other people online, it can create a lot of negative experiences, especially when your progression in the game causes you to actually become a better or more competitive player in like a 1v1 situation, for example. So if you can pay to get like a better deck or better gear for your character and then be able to beat other players, well, the problem with that is when you're faced up against somebody who spent a lot of time grinding or paying to get better gear, and you can't beat them because you're not, you don't have the stuff that they have, even though you're maybe an equally skilled player. It's just very frustrating, and it causes a lot of people to quit the game, or maybe not play it as much as they otherwise would, and it over time it causes the communities of these games to sort of erode, leaving behind only these people who paid tons of money or grinded a lot to really become a competitive player. And a lot of players aren't happy about that. A lot of players don't have hundreds of hours to grind for stuff, or they don't have the money required to pay in order to be a competitive player. But those players are still really valuable to gaming ecosystem, especially in a game like Prismata where you need people online to play against. We want to have those players. We don't want to drive them away by putting a paywall in front of their competitive experience. And it also causes a lot of regret. Like, these types of free-to-play games, many of them have very short lifespans. There's an initial marketing boost to get a lot of players into the game. They try and milk the players for as much cash as possible, as quickly as possible, and the games often die in 1 to 2 years. And if you're the type of person who spent a lot of money on the game, you know, some people spend hundreds or thousands of dollars on free-to-play games, and then the game kind of dies because nobody's playing it anymore, then, well, you can be very annoyed that you spent all this money and you don't have too much to show for it. Anyways, one thing I want to mention is that the whole concept of paying to win. I mean, pay to win is very much a dirty word. In most games, they don't want themselves viewed as pay to win. It's obviously very negative. So they will add in these options, like a free option, so that you can play the game for free, and you can earn all of the stuff that you can otherwise get by paying, somehow by playing for free. And the problem with that is often the amount of time you have to play for free, you know, say to get a $20 item or a legendary rare card or something like that, you may have to play for 100 hours in order to actually unlock one of these things. And that's like, it's so far out of the reach of most people that many of them just pay. And in fact, when you add a way of grinding for a certain paid item, in many cases it increases sales, because people that want this item, they'll start grinding for it and then they realize, oh, I don't want to spend 100 hours doing this, and they'll just pay. And if you look at most of the people who own, say, legendary rare cards or expensive rare items or something like that in free-to-play games, the vast majority of the owners of these items have paid for them and haven't acquired it through the free path. And so, while it's true that many of these games aren't strictly pay to win, they're still very much making money through frustrating their players. And that's their whole business model, is frustrate players as much as possible. And we really don't, we don't think it's a satisfactory answer to the play to win complaint that, oh, you can just earn the stuff by playing for free. And we don't want to frustrate our players. And really, we want to pursue a model that isn't a sort of frustration-based model where you pay to avoid pain or annoyance. We want an engagement-based model where you pay for experiences in the game that actually have value to you. And so that's our goal. And many other companies have had success with engagement-based models, like Path of Exile or Dota 2 or Team Fortress 2 for the most part. In these games, you're not really paying to win or to become more competitive or to avoid grinding. You're paying in order to have some kind of more engaging experience, whether it's through some cosmetic item or something like that. You're paying for the experience, and most of the players who put money into these games, they're very satisfied with their purchase. They don't have any regret over it. Anyways, so for Prismata, we've created this thing called the Prismata Promise, which is basically our promise to you guys that we're not going to put in any of these annoying, frustration-based pay-to-win monetizations into the game. And I like to think of the Prismata Promise as the 4 no's, which are no grinding, no pay to win, no regret, and no bullshit. And so no pay to win and no grinding basically means you can't earn anything that gives you any competitive advantage in Prismata by either paying money or playing longer. In every game of Prismata, you sit down against your opponent. There's, a set of units available for purchase. It's the same to both players. It's always a fair fight. There's never a way for you to gain any edge by either paying or grinding. And so no regret. No regret means, it's sort of a litmus test for us. If you put $5 or $20 or $100, however much into Prismata, I want to be able to ask you a week later, did you feel you got value out of that purchase? Were you happy with whatever you got by spending that money? And if the answer is no, then that's bad for us. We always want people to make regret-free purchases and never feel frustrated or tricked into spending money. And the reason why this is a thing is because a lot of our other companies, they actively pursue policies that increase regret rather than decrease it. what many companies do, and they actually spend a lot of time and effort on this, is they optimize things like the way the store looks, the way the prices are, the way the user interface reacts to payment. And they do this in a way to extract as much revenue as possible out of their users. However, they don't put the same type of optimization into optimizing the type of value of the experience that people get from paying. So what happens is players end up paying more, but they don't end up gaining more value. And so the ratio of sort of value to dollar paid, that actually drops as a result of these types of optimizations. Whereas we're trying to go for the reverse. We're trying to maximize the amount of value you get for putting money into our game. And we're not doing this because we're a charity or because we're nice. We're doing this because we actually think that it's the correct business decision for our company in order to pursue this type of free-to-play policy, because we're basing our model on more of a long-term strategy. We're not getting players in for a couple of years, milking them for cash, and then running away. We want Prismata to last for years and years and years, like all of the other great strategy games of our time, or great competitive online games. So that's no regret. The fourth no is no bullshit. And it basically means you're not going to see any of the crap that other free-to-play games do that put some kind of paywall or annoyance wall in between you and the game. So we're never going to say, oh, you can't play anymore, you got to ask your friend on Facebook for an extra life, or you got to, promote the game or share it on your wall or anything like that. We're not going to do anything like that. You will always have access to the game. You will always be able to play the game. We're never going to put any obstacle or barrier in between you and just playing the game. So that's no bullshit. And so those are the four no's. And really, in order to make Prismata the type of experience that we want people to have, we have to stick to these principles. We're not going to exploit our players. We're in it for the long run. Like a lot of other free-to-play games and card games, basically, they base their business model in this sort of 20-year-old business model of you buy packs, you open them, you build decks, and you need rares to have a good deck. You need to open a lot of packs to get enough rares to make a competitive deck, and so on and so forth. And this is a great business model for making a ton of money. But a lot of other things need to be sacrificed in order to make this business model work. And when we were in the early days of looking at Prismata, we discovered that Prismata was so much more engaging when we had randomized cards rather than deck building, that we just couldn't have deck building. We had to drop this business model entirely. And so we have randomized cards, and randomized cards, it needs another business model, a different business model than buy packs and build decks. And so we've decided for us, the best way to earn revenue using Prismata is a different business model. And we're willing, as a new company, to take risks on the business model. A lot of big old companies, they want the tried and true business model that's guaranteed to make money. And we don't feel we need to have that guarantee. We're willing to take more risks. And what I should mention is that we do want money. We're not doing this because we're generous or we're being a charity. We actually want revenue really badly. And the reason is not because we want to have huge profits. It's because as a company right now, we have maybe fewer than 10 full-time employees working on Prismata. And as that number grows to 20 to 30 to however much, the rate that we can create content goes way up. The quality of the experience that you guys are going to have goes way up, as well as the total audience that's going to play the game. We'll be able to get a much wider audience in the game. There'll be more people to play against, and the overall hype of everything that goes on with Prismata will be just so much bigger. So we really do want to earn revenue, but it's because we want to reinvest it into the game, into the company, into making Prismata into something really big, into that great competitive online game that we really want it to be. So we do have many ways in order to generate revenue for Prismata, and let me explain to you some of the ways that we plan on doing it. Now we have 4 planned ways of generating revenue. It's not clear that all of them will actually happen, or that all of them will be equally successful. Some may be more successful than others. We may devote a lot more resources to some of them than others once we see which ones are succeeding and which ones aren't. And in general, there's going to be a lot of experimenting, a lot of trying different things out. But we do have 4 planned ways, so let me explain them. So number 1 is skins and emotes. And you can read about this on the Kickstarter page. The plan is to go completely nuts with skins and emotes and give you all kinds of wonderful ways to express yourself through them. You can unlock different skins and emotes by playing the game. You can buy certain ones. You can pay for things that give you a higher chance of earning higher rarity emotes, stuff like that. Alex has been working on that. We're doing a lot of really exciting stuff that I don't think has been done in many other free-to-play games. Like, for example, you can collect sets of skins and then you get special animations and you collect them all. Stuff like that. It's going to be really cool, really exciting, totally optional, but it is going to give you this content that you can continue pursuing even if you played Prismata for a long time. You can continue unlocking more skins. So that will give endgame content to the game as well as a way to generate revenue. Single player mode. So we do have a free campaign planned, and we're going to do a whole video on that to talk about it quite a bit. However, there will be expansions to the single-player campaign. They'll sort of be paid packages of missions or puzzles that you can get, and we'll see how engaged people are. If single-player is like the hottest thing ever, then we'll just like tell everybody in the company to just start making content for single-player. And we've already we've got our infrastructure set up so that it's actually very quick to create new content. And it will be really exciting. We'll tell you lots more about single-player in a video soon, probably sometime next week. Arena mode will be familiar if you've played games like Hearthstone, but basically you play a bunch of matches until you've accumulated a certain number of strikes or losses or negative score, and after that you get a certain set of prizes based on your performance. So in Hearthstone's arena, for example, there's a draft portion at the start. We don't really have that because we don't have drafting, but we will have sequential series of games that you can play and unlock rewards based on your performance. And Arena will be free, but there will be sort of bonus arenas, gold and platinum arena, we're calling them, that you can access with some tickets. And of course you can earn gold and platinum arena tickets just by playing regular arena. But you'll also be able to pay for these tickets, and the higher level arenas, they have some additional modes of play as well as more rewards. So in gold and platinum you get twice or 3 times the normal rewards, or the rarity of your rewards will be higher, or something like that. And Alex is working on that. We've got tons of really interesting stuff. We're probably going to share it with you guys later this month, or later in the Kickstarter campaign. So look forward to that. The fourth thing, and it's something we haven't really talked about much at all, is raids. And raids has kind of been a project that's been on the back burner for years, in fact. This is a PvE mode where you team up with 2 friends to defeat a boss that spawns a bunch of enemies for you to fight. Raids are actually a lot of fun, and we're going to build them into Prismata, but we're focusing on other things, the single player campaign, the game itself, for now. So raids are a little bit on the back burner, but when they do come out, we will have some kind of way to generate revenue with them, and we're not going to like make items that you need to buy in order to win the raid or anything like that. They will be just items that enhance the experience, like maybe something that gives you and your whole team a bonus to your rewards once you beat a certain boss or something like that. And we'll sort of play around with it and see how it works. But in general, we're not going to add frustration to raids either. We don't want frustration in any component of the monetization for Prismata. Anyway, that just about wraps up today's update. We've got a bunch of stuff planned next week. We're probably going to do about 1 video a day for the next week. Will's got a strategy video lined up that's going to be really cool. I'm going to talk about single player a bit. I guess that's about everything. If you have friends that want to try Prismata, send them that demo. Do it now. But that's all for today. I will see you guys in the next video.